So I was working on this animation recently and thought it was really cool. And very similar to that one, I made this one where instead of the objects scaling, they fade out. And then I was making this animation, the animation that we are going to make today. The problem with the first two animations was when I went to get the animation to loop, I was kind of guessing on the values. I was just putting in whole numbers on how it worked. And then I figured out what number worked for those particular animations. And then I made the tutorial for them. But then on this animation, I figured out how to make it loop perfectly. Now, all three of these animations have one thing in common. They all loop based on this value right here on the mesh line. But I found out all you need to do is add the value up top to the value on the bottom, and that animation will then loop seamlessly no matter what you do. So for those of you on Patreon who follow these two tutorials and want to change the spacing a little bit more, you can now go back and use this technique I'm going to show you in the video to make them perfect. If you're not a part of Patreon, you can check it out. That is linked in the description. There's a ton of new stuff on there, and you can get a discount if you subscribe annually. So with that being said, let's make this animation. First thing we're going to do is create the object. So first, let's get a cube, and then I'm going to go ahead and in the properties here, I'm just going to scale it down to just whatever thickness I want it to be. Something probably around those lines. And then I'm going to hit tab, go into edit mode, go to the edge select and select each one of these edges. And then I'm going to go here to the bevel and just go ahead and bevel them. Something like that. So just get a nice round edge. And then we're going to go here to the modifiers, add a modifier and get a bevel node. And then it's kind of messed up. You need to hit Control A, apply that scale. It's going to work properly then, and just give it a little bit of a bevel. Because we are using glass, you need to bevel these things to make the glass look nice. If you're using Eevee, the glass isn't going to look that great. If you are using Eevee and you still want to follow along, just go ahead instead of using glass and just use a metallic material, and it still should look pretty decent. It won't look perfect, but you'll still get the gist of it, or you can just follow the tutorial and not do the rendering portion. But if you are using cycles, don't worry, we're only rendering 40 frames. So even if it takes a long time per frame, you don't have a lot of frames to render. So we're going to take this guy, and I'm going to go over here to the material properties. So I'm going to click on this guy, go here to the materials. I'm going to get new, and I'm going to go here to cycles and just get some lighting. And we're going to go ahead and make it transmissive and very, very low roughness. We want it to be pretty see-through, and then you can go into the denoise. There we go. We have a nice object that we can now just up here in the outliner, just remove from view. We're going to hit Shift A and get a plane, head to the geometry nodes workspace. I'm going to click new, and let's go ahead and get that mesh line. So L-I-N-E right here. I spelled that wrong, but it still worked out. So now we're going to get into the portion of the tutorial that I talked about in the intro. So first, let's get a instance on points. Up here in the outliner, grab that cube you made. Again, make sure you click the eyeball on the camera icon so it doesn't render. And then plug geometry right into the instance. And then what you can do is I'm going to hit the tilde key. It's right above the tab key. So what I'm going to do is right here on the Z of the offset, bring them down until they're spaced out the way you want them to be spaced. With this one, it just kind of makes sense to like make them look like they're perfectly stacked. But like with this animation, spacing them out kind of had a stylistic choice. So there's different things you can do. So now that we have that, I'm going to give myself a count of like, I don't know, 30. There we go. Maybe even 40, just in case you want to add some flexibility. So what I want to do now is right here on the Z of the start location, just bring it kind of to the middle. And then we have that. So let's go ahead and get the animation out of the way. So what I'm going to do is just kind of zoom in so I can't see the top or the bottom to make sure that this animation loops. And I'm going to give myself 40 frames, and then make sure if you go to your preferences in the animation, your default interpolation is linear. That's going to also make sure this loops. We're going to go back to frame 0. Now here's what I talked about in the intro. See this right here? I'm going to go ahead and just copy it. Right here in the Z of the start location, hit I, go to the very end, and then I'm going to do plus, paste, enter. It did some math for us, hit I, and you'll notice the object kind of didn't look like it moved at all. It did, and that's how you know it loops seamlessly because you didn't see a change. So if I press play, it loops perfectly. So all you have to do is add the bottom to the top, add that keyframe, you're done. And you can add any object you want in any direction. It's really, really cool. I'm kind of obsessed with this little idea. So now that we have this, so now we can go ahead and make this look really cool. So first, let's go ahead and scale the top and the bottom out to make it look cool. So we're going to get a gradient texture, plug factor to scale, and make sure it is a spherical. You can kind of see how that works. But the problem is it's also scaling it on the Z. I just want it to scale on the X and the Y. So we're going to get a combine X, Y, Z and plug it into the X and the Y and give it a Z value of 1. So now it's doing that. But right now it's kind of a pyramid and I don't like that. So we need to be able to customize this. So I'm gonna hold down Shift and right click so that we can combine these two. First thing I'm gonna do is get a position node and a vector math node. Plug position here, make this a multiply and give them all a value of 1 and plug it here. So nothing will change until we start to stretch out. Now we're stretching out the texture so we can view a few more if we'd like. Still, it looks like a pyramid. So what we need to do is get a float curve, because once we add this gradient texture, it goes from a vector to a float. So we can just use a float curve. And then if you bring this way, it rounds out that animation a little bit. And it fixes that kind of weird pyramid so you have control over the shape of it now, or you can make it worse and do something like that if you want. I don't know why you would do that, but it does do that. But I'm gonna go the other direction a little bit, kind of round it out, and then do something like that. And then I'm gonna bring this in. I don't want that many. Maybe I do want that many actually. Okay, so we have this. Next thing we're gonna do is create the spiral look. So I'm gonna bring all these guys down. I'm gonna get another combine X, Y, Z, plug it into the rotation, and we're gonna animate the Z here. So we need to get a position, because what we're gonna do is we're gonna tell the objects to spiral a little bit each instance based on their position on the Z. So we're gonna plug position right into Z. You can see it kind of worked. You saw that if you wanna like rotate it that way, it'll do it like that. So that's how that works. It's just doing incrementally more as it goes up and down. So if we want to strengthen that effect, we'll get a math node and switch it to multiply, and then just multiply that effect. And now we have something really, really awesome. Now we're going to move into my favorite part of this tutorial, which is the lighting. How did I get this really cool looking lighting in the background? It's very easy. So we're going to head to shading. I'm gonna hit the tilde key and go to the front. I'm gonna go and get my camera. I'm hit 0 and then G and middle click. I'm actually gonna kind of look at it from an angle. There we go, G and middle click. So the way I did it was I hit Shift A. I'm gonna get a plane. I'm gonna hit RX 90. Just gonna move it back a little bit and then scale it pretty big, something like this. I'm gonna go to cycles. I'm gonna have this plane clicked. And we're going to go here. I'm going to delete the principled and get a Shift A and search an emission node. Now we have some lighting. I'm going to give my world brightness black. And then if you want no edges, you can like scale it up big. We're just going to leave it. We're going to go and get a color ramp. So what we're going to do is plug the color ramp into here. We're going to get a noise texture. Plug it here. And then you can just go ahead. I'm going to click on normalize. And then go to B-spline, and then we can just kind of play. And then we're just going to bring this color ramp in. In fact, I'm going to use B-spline just to kind of make it a little bit more graceful. Bring my detail down, bring my scale up. So now we have some lighting that we can bring up the strength, and we have some pretty cool lighting. So what we can do is click on this plane that we just created, go to the object properties, go to visibility, and then ray visibility, click on camera, and now it's gone. Now it just looks like good lighting. What I'm gonna do here in the color ramp, I'm gonna get another node, make it black so we can kind of crunch it in a little bit more. So now it looks really nice and elegant. And then at this point, you can bring up the strength. And then I'm gonna get one more node. I'm gonna make it blue. So now we have like a nice blue and white. And then the white is these like are nice highlights in the light. You can give it some color, maybe like a pink, and then bring those in and kind of have like a marriage of two really, really nice looking colors. Now, what I did in my animation here was I just left it. I found a really good spot for it. If you want to animate the lighting behind it like I did in this animation, you can switch your noise texture from 3D to 4D and then just move it around like that, and it looks really awesome. Again, for this one, I'm just going to find a spot that I think is cool and then leave it, and you can just kind of appreciate that. And that is how we do it. You can bring up the brightness, which I really feel like I need to. So we can bring up the brightness of it like this. And then if you go here to the compositor, if you click new, you get a glare node, switch it to bloom. We can go back to shading. If you hit this drop down and click on always, you'll see that it now glows. So then you can bring the strength back down until you get an amount of glowing that you like. And now it is perfect. There it is. We're completely done. It's a really nice looking animation. I think it looks cool. And it loops seamlessly, and you can do anything you want with it. So that's it. If you want to render it out, I'm going to go to my the camera icon, pick your resolution. I'm going to just keep it at 1920 by 1080. And then I highly suggest doing a PNG sequence. So pick a file, throw your PNGs in there, click render, render animation, and you'll have something really cool when you're done. So there you guys go. Thank you for watching. I am really, really proud of this trick that I kind of stumbled upon. It's really cool. I love it. I think it's really, really versatile. You can throw any object you want, switch it around, change it up. I made these 2 tutorials with a very similar concept. So if you want to check those out on Patreon, you can. Link in the description. And thank you guys for watching.